Susan Hartzold. I'm curator of collections and exhibits here at the McLean County Museum of History. And we are now in the Merwin Gallery, where we are featuring the exhibit Stevenson House Treasures. Treasures is a collection of items that came out of the Adlai Stevenson boyhood home at 1316 East Washington Street. As you can see in the background, at least on this side of the gallery, there's a wide array of kinds of artifacts featured in this exhibit. When the museum received this home, it contained many artifacts associated with the family of the Stevensons. So there were many heirloom artifacts, for example, the settee. But there were also in the exhibit pieces of furniture that the family had selected specifically for the home, as well as items collected by the individuals who lived in the home. Adlai Stevenson's parents, Helen Davis and Louis Stevenson, were married. They joined two of the most prominent families in the community. And the wedding was a really big to-do. Somewhere further down in the gallery is the wedding dress worn by Helen for the marriage. But some of the items featured in the exhibit are pieces that they received as wedding gifts. Also featured in the exhibit are a lot of heirloom items, family items. Adlai Stevenson's grandfather, Adlai Stevenson I, was vice president to Grover Cleveland in 1893. And we have items associated with his political career, including what we think is the top hat he wore during his inauguration, a gavel he used while he was in the Senate, an inkwell, and other various items. Also shown in this case are some decorative items collected by the family. And Terry, do you want to?
Okay. I'm Terry Clemens. I'm the registrar at the museum, and my job is to keep track of the objects in the collection. So I've been doing research for these things that we brought out of the Stevenson house, and some of them, some of my favorites are things that came from their travels. And Louis Stevenson, Adlai's father, worked for the Hearst family in the West in the late 1800s, and this sombrero down here was Louis's at that time. And this quirt is made from woven horsehair, dyed and woven horsehair that was made in a Western prison at that time by prisoners. That was a fun fact for me to dig out. This ginger jar is from Louis's trip to Japan, probably about 19. Did he go about 1900?
No.
Okay.
You can turn that off.
Well, this ginger jar is it's cloisonné, but it's a really unusual kind of cloisonné. It's on a porcelain body, and then the cloisonné parts of the design are surrounded by carved lacquer. So that's a really rare kind of Japanese piece to find here. These are just things that decorated the house. Some of them come from their travels. This bronze down here is a copy of a bronze statue that's in a pool at Pompeii.
During Adlai Stevenson's political career, probably one of his most staunch supporters was his sister, Elizabeth Stevenson Ives. And featured here in this case are two of the dresses that she wore during his presidential campaign of presidential campaigns of 1952 and 1956. We already talked about the wedding dress.
These Halloween decorations were a last-minute find. Most of the things in the house had been cataloged in 1996, but these were when at the last minute we went up into the attic and Susan opened up this wicker trunk, and down in the bottom of it were these mostly candy containers and place cards from a Halloween party that had been at the Stevenson house. From the place cards, it was possible to know who attended the party, and from a guest book that was in the house, I found the two of the people who came to the party were the first people entered in that guest book on November 1st, 1914. So we know who came to the party and we know when it was. And these are just a few of Buffy Ives' political pins in support of Adlai's political campaign. The Stevensons had many examples of local and national art in their house, and right here are a few examples. This one is by Elmira Burnham, who was a local artist who was known for her dewdrops on her roses. And then right next to it is an etching by Oscar Burninghouse, who's one of the Taos Seven. He's one of the most important Western artists that there is, and in their collection was this etching. This is an heirloom from Eliza Brown, who was going to marry Jesse Fell, and she died before they were married, so he then married her sister Hester. This was done in 1825. And then this is another local artist, Hester Merwin Ayers, who was Adlai's cousin. And another local artist, Emily Aminta Howard. These are a few pieces from the house that are, for example, this is a family heirloom from the Davis family, from Helen's family. There's a marble relief of Adlai the First there on the wall, and that is done by the same artist who did the gallery of vice presidents in Washington. This is Buffy Ives herself, the Elizabeth Stevenson Ives. And this chair is a Gothic revival chair that was purchased by Helen from a local woman who was a decorator and antique